Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. We begin our service by lighting our Shabbat candles, page 2 in our prayer books.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kinishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
There was an article a few years ago that came out, that got a lot of slack. I don't remember who wrote it, but I think it was a conservative rabbi who wrote that on the second day of Rosh Hashanah, that's where you really get to know the Jews who are serious. It implied that all the first day Rosh Hashanah Jews were just joking around. Because synagogues that have a second day Rosh Hashanah service, they tend to get a smaller crowd. I thought, for us, I thought this during our afternoon service on Yom Kippur. I thought, in a pandemic year, the people who come to the afternoon service on Yom Kippur, those are the diehard, gotta be at everything, Jews. But I'm renaming it now, reclaiming it to tonight. The Friday night after Yom Kippur during a pandemic, those are the serious Jews. And so we have some of them here and some of them online. It's nice to be in this first Shabbat of this year that we pray is increasingly a better year than the year we had before. And so we continue to look forward to this year that we'll have together, to Sukkot, which is just around the corner, and to starting this Shabbat with song and prayer and being with each other. And so we'll begin our Kabbalat Shabbat, page 13, with the words of Mizmor Shir.
Mizmor, Mizmor Shir, Shir Yom HaShabbat. 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 La 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la. La 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
Take a moment. As we often say, we look back through our week. This week, filled with so many Jewish stopping points. As we look back on these we'll call the last week 10 days, as we look back to Rosh Hashanah and how we began this year. And I know this year, perhaps more than most, people celebrated the holidays in a variety of ways. Some at home, some here in the synagogue, some were out in the woods somewhere. Lots of creativity and innovation, and also within synagogues. Some synagogues, as I looked at my colleagues, some of them were outside in tents, some of them were inside in sanctuaries, some of them were from their homes. These last 10 days have been so unique and different. And so we walk back. What were the blessings of these days? What do we carry on into this Shabbat? And what do we carry on into this year as we begin it on this Shabbat? The words of L'chad Odi ask us to bring those blessings into this room as we welcome Shabbat, page 20.
L'chad Odi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekavela. L'chad
likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor haberach al mirosh
Mikedem nesucha sof maaseh b'machshavat kila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela.
Hit orari, kiva orach, komi uri, shir daberi kevod Adonai, alayik nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela.
Please rise as we welcome Shabbat into our sanctuary facing our door.
Boi v'shalom, atarat bala, gama v'simcha, u'v'sochala, toch emone, am segula, boi chala, boi chala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Please join me in Hatzi Kaddish.
Page 26.
Yitgadal v'kadash me'raba, v'yalmad yivrach yirtei, v'yamlich machutei, v'chayichon uv'yomechon, uv'chayedecha beit Yisrael. Bagala, uv'izman kariv, v'yimaru amin. Yehesh me'raba mevorach, le'alamo me'amaya, yitbarach, yitbarach, v'yishamach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitroma, v'yinasi, v'yitadar, v'yitali, v'yitalal, shemei dekudesha barichu, le'elam yinkor b'chata, v'shirata.
Tushbechata
v'lechamata, damira ve'alma, v'yimeru. Amen.
Page 28.
Lai la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Baruch hu et Adonai, Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim. B'chochma poteach she'arim. וביתבונה משנה עיתים ומחליף את הזמנים ומסדר את הכוכבים. במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו, בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מפני חושך וחושך מפני אור. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני. Ha'ma'ariv, Aravim, blessed are you, God, who allows us to notice the ways in which our world changes. Page 32.
Ahavat olam b'd Yisrael Amecha Amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Hukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shokbeinu B'kumeinu Masiach b'kuchecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha U'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Ahavat olam b'd Yisrael Amecha ahavta, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta.
Page 34 and 35, Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shi, Kivud Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated and join me in chanting V'ahavta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu ha'dvarim ha'ele asher Elohi mitzavecha hayom el levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'lektecha v'derech u'b'shochbecha u'kumecha Ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha, u'visharecha. Leman tizkeru b'asitem ekol mitzvotai, v'tem kedoshim Elohechem, ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem Elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem.
Among the ways we introduce Michamocha and refer to freedom is this quote at the bottom of page 41, which we don't often share. It's particularly fitting for this season that we've just left and that we're moving into with Sukkot. Salvation is the Jews' victory over human limitations, ignorance, or insensitivity. It is the conquest of sinfulness, of the evils resident within the self, of pride, of selfishness, of hate, lust, cynicism, the deliberate rejection of goodness and truth. Hopefully we did some of our work on that this past week. We'll continue to do it as we move into this year. And we'll hear the words of Michamocha, page 40.
Michamocha ba'elim Adonai, Michamocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot Osei fele, Nora tehilot, Osei fele. Malachutach Ra'uvan lecha, pokei hayam, lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze li'anu be'omeru. Adonai imloch, Adonai imloch, le'olam v'ayim. Page 42, Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right, O take a few moments for silent meditation.
Turn to page 46 as we'll rise for Amidah.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanara, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'Nehem, Lema'an Shemo V'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol atah Rav LaHoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umidom Elach, Melech Meimidu Mechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol.
Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kdoshim b'chol yom yalalucha sela baruch atah Adonai ha'el HaKadosh. God of goodness, please be seated. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, for wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer our thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulcha na'eh lahodot. Blessed are you, God, who allows us to have blessing in our life, to acknowledge it, and to find joy in it. Continue Shalom Rav, page 60 in our prayer books.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki Ata Melech Adon L'chol HaShalom. Ki Ata Melech Adon L'chol HaShalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
Take a moment to pray silently.
O God of love, grace and compassion, we pray for peace, peace for every nation. Shalom, shalom, shalom. God, we pray for peace, just peace. Oh, say shalom, shalom bimromam. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Shalom, shalom, shalom. God, we pray for peace, just peace.
Page 253, the words of Misha Berach, our prayer for healing.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. During the holidays, we set our goal as taking a cheshbon nefesh, an accounting, we say, a looking at our soul. After the holidays, especially the day after Yom Kippur, it's time to do cheshbon hachag, which is a term I entirely made up, of an accounting of the holiday. And you know, I was thinking today, especially, we spend a whole month getting ready for the holidays. Then we have them, and it's like, oh, they're done. You know, we just close the door. We should take a day and really think if we met the goals that we wanted to meet. And by that, I do not mean did the rabbi land his jokes and did the cantor hit the high notes. He didn't, and she did. And but rather, what is it that we're really, at least in my mind, how do we know if we got what we needed out of the holidays? So here are my 5 criteria. Did you feel that in the areas where you were where you had comfort, that you were afflicted, and the areas where you were not, that you were made comfortable? Comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable is a goal that was given to us in rabbinical school as a message for what we are to do to you. But the truth is, none of this is what we do to you. This is what you experience, and we do our best to try to facilitate it. So, for me, I found this year in particular, Misha Berach, Birkat HaGomel, the 2 prayers that we say, one about the healing, which we always say on Shabbat, but Gomel we've started to say during the holidays as saying thank you for those who survived something. This year in particular, that was comforting, to put the spotlight on those who've survived, because we've all survived in some way. And I was uncomfortable. I mentioned it during the services. Uncomfortable during Unatana Tokef, as it touched on points that usually seem so abstract, who lives and who dies. This year felt so real. And I was uncomfortable knowing that we were gathering in ways we didn't want to be gathering. Again, something we take for granted. You take for granted you can just show up and be in a crowd, be at Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah. This year, so much of our decisions were around where am I going to be, how's it going to feel, am I going to be safe? It was so uncomfortable. We were afflicted that way. Perhaps the benefit is we won't take that for granted any longer. The second point to judge ourselves on, did we pivot enough? Do you feel different today, 10, 11 days after Rosh Hashanah, than you did those 10, 11, 12 days ago? It doesn't have to be a huge shift, but did you move a little bit? We could ask, were you moved? Were you moved by the music? Were you moved by the words of the prayers? I read something in preparation for the holidays. It was a commentary on the prayer that the cantor sings so passionately, Ya'aleh ve'yavo, which I honestly had never paid much attention to other than the beauty of the music. It's a powerful, we won't ask her to sing it right now, but it's a powerful, dramatic tune that we have. But listen to the words this year. Let our needs rise up with the darkness. May our voices soar at nightfall. Let our suffering ascend at twilight. May there be refuge as darkness surrounds us. These ideas of Ya'aleh, Yavo, may certain things rise up this year, and may we welcome them in, may they enter. This year, that made me pivot. Can we pivot towards those things? Number 3, can we look at, it's a 4-part one. Can we look at the year behind us, the year ahead of us? Can we look inside and can we look outside? This has become, without intention, I would say, this has become my formula for sermons. It, to some degree, follows the great saying by Hillel, if I'm only for myself, what am I? If I'm not for myself, who am I? If not now, when? But it sort of reverses it. So here's how I think of it. If not now, what happened last year? How do we assess last year? On Erev Rosh Hashanah, I talked about how do we not become too obsessed with our scars. That was last year. And when? What do we do now? On Rosh Hashanah morning, I talked about coming home. If I am only for myself, that was Yom Kippur, where we talked about Israel. It was external, something outside of us, something far away. How do we care about other people, not being for ourselves? And if I am not for myself, that was Kol Nidre. How do we look at our pain? How do we look at our suffering? How do we take care of ourselves? I don't know if those sermons landed for you. It's not only in the sermon that we should get those 4 qualities. You could have done any number of things over these last 10 days. But if you didn't experience that sense of looking internally and externally, that sense of looking back at the year and looking ahead at the year to come, I would say you still have time to figure that out. Number 4, was it countercultural? In today's world, we are filled with fear and separation. Were the holidays, did they give you a sense of hope and connection? Judaism isn't entirely countercultural, but I find that our goal should often be not to have Judaism reflect what is out there in the world directly, but rather respond to it. So I always find that Judaism should be somewhat countercultural. We should look for those countercultural moments. So were the holidays a voice of hope and connection during a time of fear and separation? For me, I found it when we had our kids here for our family services and our little wee-sings. Because, as kids are, they're so resilient. Adults tend to notice everything that's different, but kids show up, and as they've always done during services, they're running around the parking lot. It was a great sense of their resilience, their sense of hope, how connected they are to each other, to us, that they just fall right into place and play their part so naturally. And the last criteria for me is peoplehood. This one, perhaps the easiest to notice. Did you have the food that we have at this time of year? Did you hear the sounds of the holidays, the sound of the shofar, the sound of Avinu Malkeinu? Perhaps there are other sounds. I know I'm often touched by the seasons. Did you go outside and did it smell like the holidays, like fall is coming? Did you have the memories that you wanted to have? See the faces of those who first introduced you to Judaism, whether that was your parents at a young age or whether that was a friend when you were an adult? And did you experience the traditions, whatever those traditions are for you? So that's my assessment. I'm hoping on Sunday to put this on Facebook in some sort of a Google Doc. Let people comment, not on what happened in services. I hope you don't look at it that way, because I don't think services are the entirety of our holidays. But did you find that sometime during the holidays, the afflicted were comforted, those who were too comfortable were afflicted, that we moved somewhere, we pivoted a little bit, we are different now than we were 2 weeks ago? Did we look behind us, ahead of us, internally, externally? Did we notice something that was countercultural that spoke to us in this moment, at this time? And did we feel a connection to our people through food and sounds and memories and traditions? Did we feel Jewish at this very Jewish time of year? I hope that you did. Whatever grade you give yourself, I hope you'll share with us the ways in which we made that easier for you, the ways in which perhaps we made it more difficult for you. But most importantly, I hope we can all take this time, if it didn't happen over these last 10 days, to achieve the High Holy Days, to take a time as our tradition asks us, and to truly make a shift in our life every year so that we are facing the right direction as we start this year anew. And then we sit in our sukkahs and enjoy each other's company, look up at the stars, enjoy the fall colors as they change, and begin to dance with the Torah on Simchat Torah just a few weeks away now. We hope you'll join us for those moments, and we hope that this year can once again be a healthier year, a happier year, a year when we get to come together more often than we did in the previous months. Shabbat Shalom. We'll rise now for Aleinu, page 282.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tegedu l'yotzer b'reishit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzut, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot adama, shelo sam chalkeinu kahim, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
Please be seated. Our thoughts turn now to those who've departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. This week, in our community, we continue to remember Walter Hahn, Marianne Pressman, and Morton Emmerman. We add to their names Jeffrey Stephen Barris, Jenny Boris, Jerome Farron, Rose Farron, Isaac Frank, Sidel Friedman, Henry D. First, Nathan Glasman, Stella Glasman, Harry Greenwald, Fred Hafner, Betty Hirsch, Jack Kalish, Adolf Katzenberg, Faina Kozlovskaya, Rena J. Klausner, Benjamin Levin, Judith Henkin Lipson, Gerald Marcus, Charles Morgenroth, Anna Nyman, Beatrice Peltzman, Samuel Plotkin, Morris Reen, Wilma Roller, Raymond Russell, Leona Sachs, Joseph J. Schoenberg, Lester Schoenfeld, Lawrence Schwartz, Herbert D. Shaw, Dr. Sidney Weinberg, and Herbert Yabroff. If there are names you'd like to add, please share them, whether you're here and can share them aloud or share them at home. We rise, page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, B'alma divarach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, B'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam omei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, damiran bi'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Having connected with those that we've loved and lost, we connect with each other as we bless each other with the words of the priests. May God bless you and keep you. May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious unto you. May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace.
Amen.
Remain Remain standing as we'll share the words of Kiddush and Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodesho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron lamasi b'reishit, ki hu yom techila lamikra kodesh, zecher l'tiyar mitzrayim, ki vanu v'charta v'utanu kidashta mikomim, v'shabbat kodecha v'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadosh haShabbat. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Please be seated. The only announcement, I think the only announcement, is Sukkot Tuesday morning. We are doing our, the last few years we have tried, I don't know what we did last year. We probably just sat at home last year. But prior to last year, we have started gathering in the metro parks on the first day of Sukkot and doing something somewhat creative. And we do a little brief service, and then we go for a walk. So this year, Tuesday morning, it'll be 9 o'clock at the Nature Realm. We'll meet right there at the edge of the parking lot at 9 o'clock. There's like a little, there's a little welcome center right there, right where the turnaround is in the parking lot. We'll wait there for people to get there, and then we'll do a brief service, and we'll go for a short little walk. Hopefully we'll have good weather. If there's bad weather, we will not be there. So don't show up in bad weather. But if the weather is good, that's our plan, is 9 o'clock Tuesday morning. And then Sukkot begins, and we'll be in our new sukkah. We hope that we'll be able to gather in our new sukkah, and the Sunday school kids are decorating it this Sunday. And next Friday night, we hope to be in the sukkah and to celebrate with everybody. So come by and see it if you're not able to be here on Shabbat, for sure. We'll close with Adama v'Shamayim, words that remind us that we're turning towards our holiday of getting outside, being near the earth and the sky. And so we invite you to join with us as we get ready for Sukkot. We thank Eli once again, who was here so many days over these last few days, all day yesterday, and is back again. So it's great to see him once again. As we'll close with Adama v'Shamayim. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
ושמיים, חום האיש, צליל המים, אני מרגיש זאת בגופי, ברוחי ונשמתי. היה, 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 הו. היה, 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 הו. היה, היה. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Mother Earth, Father Sky, heat of fire, drop of water. I can feel it in my body, in my spirit and in my soul. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.